Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exit interview. Today, I'm joined by one of my co-hosts, Ian Moorhead. Ian, you ready to talk to Mike?
Yeah, I'm ready to sleep too after this, man. I can't wait. Work Saturday morning sucks.
And as always, I am joined by Lily.
Hello, hello.
And today, our special guest is the one and only Mike. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm since Morgan isn't here, I'm just getting those last grades in and getting them, and
Yeah.
I'm ready to crack into it.
Yeah. Hey, we love to hear it. Yeah, so just to, get right into it, what were your thoughts when you saw the cast? You're one of the few that have been on technically two of our seasons. We'll get into Trinity Falls, but you only have one other fellow castaway from Monte Carlo, and that's Kylie. So what were you thinking when you saw that?
Yeah, like the cast as a whole was scary. Like there were some like players in that game, and when I saw that there wasn't a huge amount of Monte Carlo people, I was really happy, honestly, because I feel like trust was broken and may never come back. So there was a bunch of people I did not want to see. So when I only saw Kylie and technically Shea, he was out
Yes,
already.
that Mike technicality.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, these are two people that I actually worked with. So I was yes, but again, just intimidating. I was like, these people are they're gonna try to rip my head off. So
Who are you most intimidated by? Because you've seen a lot of our seasons, you're, pretty active. So who was somebody that you were like, oh, I don't want to be on a tribe with them?
I mean, it's the weirdest thing ever, but when the tribes got split up, I thought that I could connect with Simmons, but I was extremely intimidated by Simmons. And so that was like it was either like I want to go work with him or he's gonna get me kind of because he is so good. And as far as everybody else, I feel like everybody else was in my mind was on an even playing field as far as like I'm even being loyal this game. So who knows what these people are going to be doing. So I didn't like rank them on a scale of who do I need to watch out for the most. I was like, let's play the game and take it as it comes kind of thing. Because they could be playing a completely different game.
Yeah, and I think a big theme, I guess, for your game in All Stars is that you tried to play a loyal game, right? And it's different from your, I guess, well, from what we saw in Monte Carlo. So,
Yeah.
what made you decide that that's how you wanted to play in the All Stars arena?
Yeah, it was weird because going into Trinity Falls after getting voted out seventh in Monte Carlo, I thought to myself like, I think I played a pretty good game in Monte Carlo, but I didn't play a winning game in Monte Carlo. My style of play probably wasn't going to get me to final three. If I get to final three, who knows? But I was thinking, I need to change something up and do something a little different to try to, prolong my exit. And so I was like, maybe I'll be loyal in Trinity Falls. And then, that I didn't even get a chance to do that. So I just brought it right back over to All Stars. I thought that, there's a lot of people that probably watch the seasons in that game. So I'm like, if I come in and I'm the same person, they're going to send me out right away. They're going to be like, we don't even want to deal with this guy on this island.
Mhm.
So I was like, I got to switch it up and I got to try to find a way to convey that to them and also maybe learn something along the way. And I think I did. So,
Yeah. And I mean, just to talk about your Trinity Falls connection a little bit, you get into your tribe and you're like, I don't consider myself a Trinity Falls. You like say that right off the bat. You make that very clear, especially since there's already two Trinity Falls on your tribe. Had you ever considered trying to use that connection, even though you didn't get to play with them?
yes. So the Trinity Falls thing, like, an absolute honor to be on any season. So like I'm not being a sore loser when I say like I wasn't on Trinity Falls, but going into this game and seeing the amount of Trinity Falls people and then me, it's like okay, I'm gonna have to really disconnect from these people. So I'm like, dude, I didn't even talk. Who is Lydia? I don't know. What are you guys talking about? Like, what? I'm like, okay, like, and that's the truth. I didn't even get a chance to talk to Lydia or Garso,
Yeah.
or Lex. So I'm like, I need to
Or Sarah, you literally were the only one
Sarah.
from your original starting tribe. You were off first. So like you had an hour, maybe two in the game of Trinity Falls. Well, they had like 7 together at the minimum. So like you definitely were at a major disadvantage for Trinity Falls.
Yeah, so if you could have just came in and said that to everyone, that would have been awesome. But yeah, so I was like, I need to disconnect. Now, behind the scenes, Lydia is including me in that. I think number one, strategically, and number two, like, hey, Mike was on Trinity Falls. Like, let's not be rude here. Like, Garso and I are gonna work together.
I mean, Kylie's not on your tribe, so you can't like include the Monte Carlo. So the only option to include you is Trinity Falls.
Yeah. If we're going like season lines, then of course. So yeah, I appreciated Lydia being like, hey, Mike, like I know we didn't get a chance. Like this is kind of our second chance. Like we should have got to know each other, but we didn't get a chance to. So like here we go. And like I said, I think that was, of course, strategic, but also Lydia was just, extending a little like branch out, like here, come on. So I appreciated that. It didn't fit with how the game was moving. That's all that I definitely considered it. And maybe I should have,
I think you and Brittley were the middlemen of that like vote there, and then to continue on to like the Danny vote. Like if you guys didn't want to do either vote, you could have just not and gone to the other side. So you definitely were the decision makers.
Yeah, and I saw it as Danny and Maddie, and then like Simmons kind of by himself, and then Brittley and I. So I was like, if we can get all these other people out of the way, like them two will want to go after Simmons. I saw a bunch of options with pairs. That's what it was. And Lydia and Garso were just kind of thrown under the bus right off the bat. I wasn't going to fight for them or anything. So
my favorite duo pair of the game was you and Brittley. So can you talk about your relationship with Brittley? And it was kind of short-lived because you didn't get to be together after the swap, but you have the glorious moment of going out in the same episode together. So just talk about your relationship with Brittley a little bit.
Yeah, I messaged Brittley and I said I will never forget that we came into the game together, we got voted out together. But yeah, no. So I said when I played Monte Carlo, like I talked to you guys asked me like, oh, like what was it about Kyle that like made you want to work with him so much, or what was that connection like? And I was just like, sometimes you just get into a call and you're just like, all right, this is it, this is good. And same thing with Brittley, like we get on a call, and I have seen Brittley's season, and I love Brittley on that season. Like she was just so nice. So I was like, all right, if I'm going to be playing loyal, I can even take some pages out of Brittley's book if I can team up with her here. So that's what it was. And yeah, she's awesome. So we I could have played things differently, but I think it goes to show our connection was actually pretty deep, because of when I didn't include her in the vote, she still was like, it's all good, like just tell me what happened. Whereas but yeah, I mean, like in the game, especially that early, you can't trust someone 100%. If I tell Brittley something, she blows it up, I'm screwed. So did I trust her 99.9%? Yes, but so that's kind of where that went. But yeah, Brittley's awesome. If we were ever in a game together, watch out, DCP.
Get that noted. Well, after the Danny vote on your original tribe, we see a lot of, I guess, voting blocks is what it's been called. But Simmons always seems to be in the voting block, right? Like he's always the one kind of making the decision or being a part of deciding who's going to go. And when you look at the failed fraternity, as you called it, and it's like my favorite name for a little voting block. How did you feel when you were brought into that? Did you feel like you were at the bottom of that 4? Or who did you think was really leading the charge on it?
Yeah, so I thought that Simmons was leading the charge. I think that it from very early in the game, Simmons was telling me, I'm like, we're good, you know that. And dude, like I have Andrew, like we have Andrew. You don't even have to message Andrew, like we're good, whatever. So when I get pulled into that call, I'm like, I'm not surprised. I'm like, okay, I fit this perfectly. And that's when I said, like, this is a bros club. Like this is like the fans are gonna hate us. Like I totally see it. But yeah, I was not surprised at all. And I was good with it. Like I'm gonna do whatever in the game is good for me, whether people will look at it as like, oh, those jocks are getting together and whatever. Have you seen me? I'm not a jock. I
Dude
wear back.
bros, dude bros.
Yeah, like they're gonna get together. They all love sports, whatever. Like, all right, I'll talk to you after the game, but if it gets me further, like I'll vote anyone out. So yeah, I was happy with it. I was like, sweet. And to answer your question, I did feel like I was on the bottom of it, but in that group, I didn't care because I was like, at least I'm in the group. You know what I mean? Like it's a voting block of 4. There's 8 players left or whatever, 9 or 7 players left or whatever it was. I'm like, as long as I'm in it, I don't care. And honestly, I was kind of happy to be on the lower side of it because I was like, that that shows that I'm playing the game that I want to play. I'm not the leader. I'm not on the top. If they want to come after the king, they're going to take Simmons' crown off, not mine. So
And that also gives you flexibility with maybe the other side of the vote because, oh, you're at the bottom. Let's try and bring in the bottom person to vote with us or something like that. So like it gives you options.
very true. Yeah. And I think everybody on the tribe kind of saw that. And it also gives me a little bit of wiggle room where if I was to make a move against them, where Simmons can't say like, yeah, I just didn't feel comfortable with this group. He was the one who made it. I can say like, look, I felt like I was on the bottom and I might be able to do some damage control there. And so that's what I thought. And I was super happy with the fact that I was on the bottom of a 4-person alliance, not the bottom of the tribe. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the being on the bottom of a voting block doesn't really mean anything. Like who cares? Like you said, it's not like being on the bottom of an alliance where you're the first to go. A voting block only lasts X amount of time. So if it's just going to get you through the round, who cares if you didn't make it? And yeah, like you said, in your case specifically, I think someone who is like known to make moves, try whatever, do whatever to stay in the game. Yeah, you're right. Being on the bottom of whatever voting block works out for you. May not be the case for everybody, but the type of player, I mean, in a returnee season, like you said, you do have to balance who you were before, because you can't come back and play the same game.
No.
So yeah, I think your read on all that stuff was pretty good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Well, let's play a game of what if. What if there wasn't a swap, right? Because I'm interested in this. You have the 4 of you, Andrew, Austin, Simmons, yourself, but we also have Brittley, who you're close to, and Maddie, who Simmons would never have gotten rid of. But you don't really know that in the game, right? That seems to be very well hidden. Who do you think ends up going in that, or who do you try to go for, and who do you think ends up going that round?
Erin was also weaseling her way into Simmons.
Mhm.
Like the options are getting very limited.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that's where I would have had to definitely do some like moving around. Like you hear me say to Brittley, like, I didn't tell you and I didn't try to make a move this round because I feel like there is still a lot of ways that the next vote can go. We have wiggle room. We can pull this person in. We can kick this person out. Things like that. So I don't know exactly what I would have wanted to do, but maybe because voting Simmons out. If I say that and I say it's the wrong person, I'm probably gone. But going for someone who Simmons was really close with would probably go over better, especially for people who don't feel like they're in. So I think I could have pulled Karen as close as she was to Simmons if I don't go for Simmons. You know what I mean? Weaken him, but don't go for him because there's people working with him. So I probably would have gone for sorry, but like Austin or Andrew. The Bros Club. I would have tried to slowly but surely break down the Bros Club.
I feel like that would have been a good decision how that happened. So
Yeah.
But there is a swap and we get to see the high rollers room. But when we see the high rollers room, you are the only one to
The
go.
king of Monte Carlo.
So talk
So fitting. So fitting.
yeah, when you realize that you're the only one, what are you thinking when you're in there?
So that was a situation where everybody wants to be on a call with everybody, and there's trust, and you can go if you want to, yada yada yada. But it's such a, and I should have played it better, but it's such a like a I was not I clicked that button and I was like, what am I doing? I was this close to not going into the
High rollers room.
high rollers room. And so yeah, I mean I was like, screw it, I'm going, and then I can worry about all that after. I should have made my decision whether I was going and thought about how I was gonna go, how to do it after. But because it was such a, I was like, no, 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 no. Okay, I'm going. And then like I'm like, okay, let's try to figure out what I'm gonna do. But once I went and there was no one there, I was like, this is great. I was surprised that Sarah didn't go. Um, these exit interviews are awesome because now I completely understand why Sarah didn't go. Sarah probably shouldn't have gone, but I was surprised in the moment that I was the only one there. And I was like, I can kind of twist this because no one else is here. No one can fact check me on it. So that's where the lies came in. And I kind of went back to my old ways.
We were just about to close the high rollers room, and then all of a sudden we see your name pop up, and we're like, "Oh shit, it's going down!"
Even
And
if that is the reason.
yeah,
Sorry,
the pressure of, all right, it's trivia. You have to get at least one question right, hoping you can get at least down to Monte Carlo and get the questions right. What were you thinking while like listening to our spiel of trivia? You know, we've been talking about this all leading up to All Stars and like actually doing it.
So I'm not one to, I'm like, the game's off. I'm not playing the game at all. And then when I'm in the game, like, game on. So when on Instagram there's a bunch of like, trivia questions and season recaps and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, that's fun. Like, yeah, for the people who haven't seen them or haven't done whatever. So I'm just clicking them. I'm getting all of them wrong, whatever. I'm like, whatever. And then the game starts. I'm like, all right, game on. And then we get to that, and I'm like, damn, I should have thought that was gonna be something. Like, I don't think like that. So even outside of the game now, I'm processing the questions you ask as if like, okay, what was I doing in that moment? Because I like disconnect from it. So when I went in there and they said it was trivia, I was like, oh shit, I'm about to make the worst move in DCP history, and so embarrassed. But I did think like, okay, there has to be some about Monte Carlo, and like, I was on that season for a while. If I don't get those right, I don't deserve anything. So I was really nervous, but also like, okay, there's a good chance I can get 1 out of 14.
Yeah. But you made it to exile, and we didn't have to go further than exile, so there you go.
Yeah, which is impressive. Yeah, you got a question right now on your season. I don't know that a lot of other people could do that.
Some kid probably couldn't even get their season question right.
That moment when they both picked the same number, I don't know if I can ever forget that. That was
iconic.
It was bizarre.
Yeah, it was weird.
Like, so
yeah. It still haunts me sometimes.
Well, you get out of the high rollers room and you said you would change your, I guess, how you played it, but you end up telling Maddie, which I don't think, given the information you had, was a horrible decision. Sarah's going to go this round. You need to make an ally on your tribe. So you lean towards Maddie. Talk us through why that. And with hindsight, what would you have done with that information, knowing how close Simmons and her were now?
Yeah, so I mean, Maddie and I were pretty close from the get-go. So it was, I feel like in these games, for me at least, I need some sort of protection that is like unbreakable. So like Kylie, that you can like, I had Kylie, like, same thing. So when Maddie and I were talking and the way that Maddie said she was playing her game and stuff like that, I was like, okay, I can see Maddie as being that person for me in this game. And since I was playing loyal and honest, I was like, there was a confessional that didn't make the episode, but I was like, look, there comes a time in the game when you need to just put all your trust in someone. If it comes back to bite you, it comes back to bite you. But Maddie, here we go. And then boom, I was telling Maddie everything about my game. I knew that Simmons and her were close, but I didn't know how close they were. I thought that it was like it was kind of like a competition to see who could get Maddie between Simmons and I. And since Simmons had Austin and I had disclosed that Simmons knows Austin in real life, Maddie, he knows him in real life. Like this isn't like they're not just friends. They know each other. I thought that would be enough to kind of like spook her into working with me.
Mhm.
And I'm saying, look, they're talking about how they're just going to drag you along. And I knew that Maddie had like she was really, really scared of being, lied to by all the guys and the guys vote her out, which I completely understood, but I played to that. I would say, Maddie, they don't respect your game. You got rocked out. They said, oh, she'll get rocked out again or we'll vote her out, whatever. And just to kind of get her to be like, like they don't like me. They don't like me. They don't like me. Mike's the best. So that's why I told her everything. And I was hoping that if none of that other stuff worked, that me having an extra vote when there's, 5 people left on a tribe, that she would be like, okay, this is a no-brainer. The dude's telling me everything. They know each other in real life, and he has an extra vote. Sign me up. But their connection was just that strong that it just didn't work out, and she blew it all up. Which now seeing what I saw, like, might have done the same thing. And then so that's when I'm like, okay, shit, I can't say that I can say that I told Maddie, but I can tell them that I told Maddie the wrong thing because I wanted to wait and tell you guys when we're both here that I have an idol, and that's where that came from. So, but yeah, if I knew that they were that close, I probably would have really, really, really worked on Austin way more than I did, and I might have been
Austin was your in because he was like hesitant to get rid of you.
And I don't know if it's I don't know if it's me having a bad read on Austin or if it's just how Austin is, but he was just so like chill and like, yeah, we'll do this, we'll do that, whatever. That I was like, okay, I didn't feel like we were that close at all.
Mhm.
So, to think that he thought that we were, I would have probably never gone to him and been like, dude, you need to save me. I feel like I would have thought that I would have to do that with Simmons more than him. So that was crazy for me to hear. But honestly, I would have gone to Sarah. If I know everything, I would have gone to Sarah and I would have tied that friggin' boat with her and we would have gone to rocks. And it would have been a great thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That was going to be my follow-up question. Like, given that it kind of blew up right before the Sarah vote, would you have tried to use your extra vote in that round to maybe get out somebody that was close to Simmons?
Or Simmons himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if I was to do that with Sarah, we wouldn't have voted Simmons, leaving Simmons open for the pool of
Right.
people who will get that privilege of being rocked out of the game. But yeah, I think that there was a few things that made me not do that. So number one would be there could be a swap tomorrow. So this could be the last vote. We could just, especially because the other tribe's going to tribal, 2 people are going home tonight. There's a chance there's a swap tomorrow. We're not even, this 4 is no longer together. So do I need to pull something like this yet? I don't know. And it was going through my head. And then number 2 is we could win the challenge tomorrow. And because another thing is because both tribes are going to tribal tonight, I can only guess that only one's going to go tomorrow. So we have like a 2/3 chance of winning if we don't swap. But 2 tribes go to tribal, we go to tribal, and yeah.
You guys can't win a challenge. Come on.
We can't win a challenge. So the pros, the cons outweighed the pros of trying to get Sarah and go after one of them. Because the other thing is, I don't know that I even have Sarah like that. You know what I mean? So if I go to, she could be like, yeah, it sounds good, but they're telling me that they're voting you, so I'm just going to vote you. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
No.
Your tribal challenge track record is pretty bad. Now that I think about it.
Oh my gosh. In Monte Carlo, I was terrible at challenges in the beginning, and then I kind of picked it up towards the end, towards like the individual side of it. And now I feel like I'm not amazing at challenges, but I'm like, I think I would be picked to be on a team, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm like, nothing doesn't matter. I just lose every time.
Did you notice the return of the playing card cup tower in the 4x4? I noticed you weren't on that task.
Sorry, did you hear that? Oh, I lost you. 1 second. There we go.
I said I noticed you weren't on the playing card cup tower task for that challenge.
No.
Why would that be?
I don't know. I think I'd be great at it. I didn't want to try it that day for whatever reason. No, but that's another thing too. You kind of hear Simmons say it in the episode, like, yeah, of course I have to be the one holding the dice. Like, yeah, like you can bounce a ball into a cup and all this stuff. That was my entire thing the entire season. I was never going to do something hard. I was that annoying person where right when the rules were done, I was like everybody's like, all right, go to your breakout rooms. We get in the breakout rooms. I'm like, guys, I'm great at insert easy task. I'm great at that. And they're like, all right, Mike, you can do that. And then you'd see like the other people start being like, oh shit, now I got to get something.
But then we also see you complaining, be like, Andrew, flip your cup over, like reset. And you're like into these challenges, but you're also like, I'll be into it from the back. Not from this like position of a hero role or anything like that.
Oh, no. Yeah, and I thought it was so funny too, because in that challenge, especially like the game just started, I'm like, we need this win. I don't want to go home this early. No one wants to go home this early. So I'm like, Andrew, it's so simple. When you're done, just set your cups up so you're ready for the next round. Well, did you see last episode when Simmons drops his dice? Guess whose cups aren't ready to be flipped? Mine, man. Just your cups. And I'm watching it. I'm like, I'm such an asshole. I'm contradicting myself completely.
You're just too focused on Austin stacking that tower. You were just too into it.
Probably, yeah. But I thought that was so funny. I was like, I did the exact same thing that I was getting mad at Andrew for doing.
Well, I mean, that was all my questions. I feel like there wasn't a lot you could have done on your vote out. You tried really hard to maneuver, but again, it's that tight. Simmons has a hold on everybody at this point, and you just happened to be the name that was the easiest for him. I don't know if there was anything else you felt like you could have done watching back, knowing that round, assuming Sarah still goes. I don't know.
I think Austin is your only hope, and be like, I got an extra vote, and then we could control it, and then Maddie goes probably.
Yeah, and I don't know if Austin just felt so good with Simmons that, because you hear Simmons say, I'm working with Maddie, I'm working with Austin. Talk to each other. Why aren't you talking? Mm-hmm. Me and Austin didn't talk that much. So like I would go to Simmons and he would like bring in Austin. And then me and Austin would have a couple talks here and there. Nothing crazy. But so to think that I could go to Austin and be like, yo, dude, like we're super duper close. Don't vote me out of this game. I just didn't see it in my head, because I was like, no, I would go to Simmons and do that. And maybe he could go get Austin. That's how big of a hold that Simmons had on our tribe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
those were all my questions. I don't know if any of the other hosts have them before Facebook.
Oh no, I haven't read the other time. I read all of them.
Well, we're over to Facebook. First question you got, Mike, is from Kylie. I'm devastated we didn't get to play All-Stars together. We've never gotten to play in a mini format, and I honestly think we could have killed it. In parentheses, let's find one. But 3 questions. First, do you think you would have been better off to go all in with Simmons or all in with Maddie, or would it have accomplished the same goal?
I think there's a good chance it accomplishes the same goal, because when you have two people who, like, I felt super duper close with Maddie. So like if Maddie and Simmons are still closer than Maddie and I, then there's probably nothing I could have done that would have made it the other way around. So the only option would be to try to get closer to Simmons and maybe start to put a little doubt in his mind about Maddie. But in reality, they were just so close that I think that there was no, I couldn't wiggle myself in either way.
Yeah.
All right, Kylie's question number 2. Knowing how close they were, Maddie and Simmons, replace Austin with yourself at the merge. How do you think we as a duo and you as an individual could have done?
Well, it's kind of like I was thinking it of like as Monte Carlo, like, and that's what I was saying to Austin and Simmons when I'm like, I know you guys are saying you're keeping me, but let me just tell you why you should, just in case you have a little bit of doubt. I looked at it like Monte Carlo. I'm going into the merge with a tribe that's been completely demolished. There's only a few of us now. So it looks like we're just screwed. But wait a second, there's Kylie, and Kylie has a good hold on all these people. Let's use that. So I looked at it like that too. And honestly, it probably would have ended up like making, obviously we don't know what happens in the future here in the game, but it honestly would probably work out how it did last time, because I would have needed Kylie to help me navigate. And then, it would have probably ended up where we go home 7 and 6 again or something like that.
And Kylie's final question is, what's your favorite Buc-ee's snack or food?
Oh yeah. Those like beaver nuggets with the cinnamon ones. Those are, I could eat bags and bags and bags.
Cinnamon beavers. All right.
Yep.
Next question is from Lydia. So glad we actually got to talk this time around. I'm curious if you ever seriously considered working with people from Trinity Falls, and how you think your game might have gone if you did.
Yeah, no, the answer to that question is definitely yes. I didn't look at anybody in the game as this person played this person played that, this person played this. Like I said, yeah, there's going to be connections, but there's also going to be rivalries, and then there's going to be people who had connections who didn't want to work with the same people because they got out last time. So, yeah, when Lydia came to me and asked me that, like I said, I was happy about that, because anybody saying they want to work with you is awesome. Like that's good for me. So I did consider it. Like I said earlier, it wasn't the way that the tribe moved. It moved like it landed on them pretty quickly. And I was like, I need to get the hell out of that Trinity Falls mindset. So I had to kind of just brush it off and distance myself from them, which kind of sucks. Because we didn't get a chance to play now basically twice.
Yeah.
But I think that it could have gone boom, 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 and I would have been that last boom, because if I was close with them. So I had to vote them. I had to, distance myself from them.
All right. Next question is from Andrew Denson. Do you know the Nick Castellanos meme?
I
don't.
Okay. All right. That's a.
I don't either. So
yeah, it's a baseball reference.
He's on the Philly.
Yeah, you either know it or you don't.
You'll have to send it to me.
Okay, next question is from a Trinity Falls cast member, Luke. Luke, thanks for asking questions.
On your tribe.
Yep, I remember. Voted me out. Thanks, Luke.
Voted you out. Yeah. So speaking of getting voted out, he asked, "Did you know you were going, or do you consider this a blindside?"
Well, I think from the past, that I won't say that I was. I'll admit when I was blindsided. That's like my biggest thing. When people are like, "No, I knew all along." It's like, you got blindsided. Admit it. I thought that 90% of me thought I was going home. 10% of me was like, maybe they're telling me the truth. So when I got voted out, that's why I'm like smiling. I'm like, okay, I know what happened here, So this wasn't a blindside. Have I been like brutally blindsided before? 1000%. This one there's 4 people. It's either Maddie or myself. I'm pretty sure it's me. If it's Maddie, awesome, but they're probably voting me out. They do. I'm like, okay,
Okay, next we have a question from Sarah. She's asking the same question that you asked her because she liked it so much. What is your favorite DCP moment in game or out?
That is a good question.
Well, I'm gonna answer it kind of like her too. The easy answer would be like meeting everybody. Like this community is awesome. Like I have so many new friends from this. But in game, I would say in Monte Carlo, convincing Elijah to play his 50-50 coin after he just got it and it's so early in the game, and running to him and telling him to do that, and then he actually does it. That like woke me up. I think that's like what started the chaos, I was like, wow, I can do this and it actually works sometimes. Like, so that's definitely my favorite in-game thing that I did. Close second, the leg, keeping my legs up and beating Will.
6 inches.
Yeah, 6 inches challenge, the only 6 inches challenge we've ever had. You're the only winner. So yeah, those are both good picks.
Thank you.
All right, next we have a question from you said, or McKenna said, the one and only Mike. We had several Mike/Michaels. And one of them, Michael Zucker, has a question. Follow up to your final words, your great final words, between Simmons, Austin, and Maddie. Who's the biggest asshole and why?
Well, I love all three of them. I think they're great people.
Okay, well, who's the biggest asshole? We need the negative.
Biggest asshole?
Negativity.
Yeah, that's me.
Who's the biggest asshole out of the three? I don't want to say that. That's just in-game asshole Simmons.
Out of game asshole.
Out of game asshole. I don't know them that well, but if I got to know them a little bit, I could probably give you that.
All right. Well, based on what you know, take your best guess for outside of the game asshole.
Austin, because he's your brother.
Okay.
That's good.
I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm not gonna answer that. That's bad.
All right. Well, I've logged your answer as Austin. So John David Millsip has our next question. What made you so comfortable sharing your advantage with Maddie? You kind of talked about that already, but I guess maybe provide a.
What did you do that made you feel so comfortable to tell her something like that?
Yeah, she was very good at disclosing enough information. So so I think that like when she said that like post game that it was a hard decision. So it's like with that being said, her when I'm coming to her and saying and giving her information, she in her mind, she actually isn't like, I'm going to use this against Mike. I'm going to use this against Mike. And when she talks and responds to what I tell her, it doesn't come off that way because that isn't how she actually is being. So that's what led me to keep being like, okay, Maddie's definitely with me. Maddie's definitely with me until she wasn't. So she made a decision at the very end, and that's when it all ended. But during it, she played it so well because number one, she's an awesome player. And number two, she was actually kind of flustered on what to do. So it was natural for her to be like, thank you so much for giving me that information. I will not disclose it to anyone, because she wasn't actually lying to me.
Yeah.
And then it all came to an end when she blew up my game.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like unquantifiable skills that you like that make a good Survivor player. And I think one of them is like being able to, like you said, disclose enough without doing too much, and also not disclosing so little that it's obvious that you're lying. Like I think Maddie did a very good job at playing sort of like someone who knows enough but doesn't know enough. Like she doesn't have any, she's not telling you that she has she's not making it clear that she has 2 allies, but she knows some stuff. She's still, she's able to, not everybody's able to do that. And I don't think it's like it's just a personal thing. Like I think people just make connections very quickly. Those types of players. And we've definitely seen Maddie do that in this game so far.
Yeah, that was her main thing, and again, keeping her options open at all times made it more. It made it easy for her to say like, "Oh my God, that's awesome! I'm not going to tell anyone," because at that moment she wasn't going to. She never said, "I'm never going to tell anyone." She's just saying like, "I'm not going to go tell someone right now." So I think that made it easy for her to be like to sound natural and sound like she actually wasn't going to like screw you over.
Mhm.
But then she could use that information whenever she wanted. So
yeah. All right, next question is from Nick Cannon. Nick, again, thank you for always putting in questions. We really appreciate it. Says Philly now Tampa Mike. His first question is about your strategy. We already talked about that. Second question though is, did you cause as much chaos as you wanted to?
Yes and no. Yes, as far as I don't think I caused a lot of chaos at all, except for kind of like the 5-person tribe. But put me with 9 people, I don't have to cause chaos unless I want to. Put me with 5 people, someone's got to be the guy that shakes it.
Someone's gotta do it.
Yeah. So yeah, it was enticing, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm in a pickle right here. I'm gonna lie. Let's go. And but no, as far as watching that episode and seeing Austin like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And Simmons is like, what are you doing? And Maddie has her hood, like you can only see like her nose. She's like, I'm like, I miss that. I wish I did way more of that because it's just so funny to see everybody be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So game wise and like moves in the game, I think, yes, I was as chaotic as I wanted to be because it was pretty little. But like now that we're watching it, I wish I was way more chaotic because I think it's more fun to watch people kind of like squirm a little bit.
I think everyone, like, if you've never played one of these games before and you do, everyone's like retrospective thing is like they can't wait to see themselves, like not necessarily they can't wait, but like they like when their confessionals are on or like their Zoom calls are on. I find it, and I think other people probably do too, way more exciting when people are talking about you, and whether
Yeah.
it's good or bad, it's
Yeah.
just very funny because like you're never gonna be there when people are talking smack or yeah, just it's just super fun to watch that back because I mean you would have never heard any of that dialogue elsewhere. So
No,
yeah,
yeah, it's so that's easily my favorite thing about watching it back is like making a good or bad move. Doesn't matter whether it actually helps you in the game, but just watching people react to it. If it's that, chaotic and just watching how they're like, oh shit, why did he do this? What's going on? I just think it's so funny.
All right, Carrie Underwood has our next question. First, she says, Mike, you are one of my fave DCP players ever. Your confessionals are so much fun, and you always have the best attitude. Please recommend a yummy beer for me to try. Anything but an IPA.
Okay. There's this beer called Einstock. It's Einstok. Okay. And it's an Icelandic beer, and I think they use like orange peel in it and stuff. It's a really good taste. I think it's pretty good for the summer too. Like it's very refreshing. So that's the one I'll recommend. I love it.
All right, Carrie, there you go.
I mean, send me a
and
picture when you're drinking it. That way,
We will.
Our last Facebook question is actually our first Facebook question, but it comes from Alex Trias. Host Alex Trias. Hey, it's me, Mr. Positivity. I would love for you to think about one positive thing you took away from your All-Star experience.
There's a ton.
All right, well, we just need one.
Yeah. I think okay, obviously it's always the people for me. Like I always love meeting people, but other than that, it would be really feeling like I'm in the game and I just want to get as far as I can, and whatever I do, whatever placement I get, I'm gonna be proud of myself for the game that I played. Whereas in past games, not even just DCP in general. Like I put a ton of pressure on myself during the game. Like you can't go home, you're going to get 14th place, like whatever. I think I have like an understanding now that every game's different. You can be put in a game that you're never going to win. Like you just have no chance of winning. So when you get out, are you really going to kick yourself for getting out first? Like stuff like that. And I'm not talking about Trinity Falls. I could have won, but they voted me out first. But other games, you could be put in a game with 14 people who know each other. You get voted out first. Are you mad at yourself? So I took away that just play as hard as you can, have fun while you're doing it. And if you make it to the end, give it your best shot to win the whole game. If you win, great. If you don't, wherever you place, you should be proud of where you place. That's what if you did what you wanted to do.
Especially in this game when the caliber of player is so high, and getting out second is maybe even a compliment because they think you're a threat to their own game moving forward. So like you getting out pre-merge here is only just like credit, I feel, to your reputation within DCP as well.
Yeah, I think that in this game, I didn't want to get voted out first, especially because of Trinity Falls. But the people who get voted out real early are the people who people are scared of. And that's a huge compliment. And I kept having to tell myself that if you go home, it's because people are afraid of you. You should take that as like the biggest compliment ever. Like you're a threat to their games. And then after that, if you get voted out, like every round that you last with this caliber of players, I was happy with the placement I got in this. Whereas in Monte Carlo, I got 7th and I wasn't happy with it. This is what did I get, like 14th or 13th in this game? Like
13th. Yeah, 13th.
Yeah. So it's just like the caliber of players, you if you're not proud of yourself for even like being able to like play with the big boys in this game, then I think you should be. I think everybody should be proud of the way they played.
I guess I have a follow-up question to that. Do you feel like the Trinity Falls placement kind of helped you get that mindset where like who cares? Like it really is like just a game. You can't like put too much pressure on yourself or like the game's not fun or like you're not going to have the experience you have. I mean, just asking just because I think like for people who have not just a first boot experience, but like a pre-merge experience, like once they have that and they go play again, like they feel way less pressure. So do you think that's your attitude this time around is a result of that? Or do you think it's just like all the games you've played up to this point, or something else?
Yeah, I think that Trinity Falls definitely helped me understand that like you don't control what happens. Like you go out first, you got voted out first. Like that's just how it goes. So yeah, it definitely gave me a more like easygoing mentality as far as placement goes. And I think for this game too, with everybody watching like all the seasons and everything, me going out first kind of lowered my threat level a little bit too. And so yeah, I mean, getting voted out first, anything after that to me now is going to be great. You know what I mean? Like, okay, at least I didn't get voted out first. But I will say those first votes where, I could have been the first one voted out, I was so nervous about it happening again. And that would have been a hard pill to swallow. If I got voted out first again, I would have been a little upset for a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny you talk to like back when I would talk to people playing for their first time, they're like, I just don't want to get voted out first. But like once they don't get voted out first, it's like the pressure stays on. Like that clearly was not your goal. That was just like the goal that you put out there to like, it's so hard to fail. And then it's like, oh, now I want to make merge. Now I want to make, final 7. Now I want to win an individual immunity. So like, yeah, I think, the less pressure you put on yourself, especially a game that lasts like during the work week and like not just one day. I mean, it really helps like stabilize not only the game for you, but like life in general. So
yeah. And it's hard too, like thinking about it. Like when I'm playing, it's almost like I don't want to get voted out. Like Trinity Falls, I was voted out first, and I wasn't so devastated about the fact that they voted me out first. It's that throughout the game, I have a ton of fun playing the game. You make so many connections with people, that you never would have met before, things like that. So to be voted out first, yeah, you're voted out first. You didn't win. But if you're going to be voted out, might as well get voted out first. But you don't get all of those chances to meet people, make memories, make moves that you'll be like, I did this. So it more so for me, it's that. If I would have got voted out first again this time, I would have been like, wow, that's two seasons that I could have met a ton of people, had a bunch of fun, all that stuff. It goes out the window. And that, I feel like that goes in front of like, okay, I didn't get to win the game, because that stuff to me is more important. I do want to win, don't get me wrong, but there's way more to gain from a game like this.
Mhm.
All right, time for my questions. First one is going to be a little easier for you because we're not going to include Shea. So you got to replace Kylie on the All Stars cast with someone else from Monte Carlo.
It's hard because Kyle and I are boys, so I would put Kyle in there, and we would definitely work
Going
together.
anywhere. Sorry. You can't pick Kyle because we're not going to let him. We're not letting him play.
Yeah. I have another one too.
Pretend he's not on prod. So
I'm also scared that if I add Kyle, now it's Kyle, Kylie, and Mike, which people saw on Monte Carlo. People also saw Will, Kylie, and Mike in Monte Carlo, but I feel like we could kind of spin that and be like, yeah, it was Kylie and I. We pulled in Will because he's in Philly and all that stuff. Meanwhile, like Will and I hang out, like we've hung out a couple times and stuff. So I would put Will in there probably because I feel like we could kind of like lower our threat level, or our like duo level.
Oh,
If it's Kyle, we're a duo. Like everyone knows that. But Will, it's like, okay, that kind of started late in the game, and he got voted out kind of quickly after that. Like, I think we could do that. So I would choose Will. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And he's just fun to play with.
Yeah, that's actually not who I was expecting, but I think that's a good call.
Who are you expecting?
I was expecting you to say Kyle or McKenna Inglis.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe McKenna, but McKenna did screw me, so.
Yeah, she's also on prod, so.
Yeah, I know.
All right, second question. I'm excited to ask you this because I know you've watched several seasons, if not all of them. I need your DCP Mount Rushmore, not including anything from All Stars. So
Ignore everything that happened.
Yeah, ignore All Stars completely. So I need your DCP Mount Rushmore. It could be really any criteria you want to use.
Okay. I'm bad with names. I can remember faces, so you'll have to guide me here.
Yeah, we got you.
So I'm sorry, Lilly. The final two. What was his name? Alex. For just kind of being on the bottom, boom, 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 and just somehow, if you haven't seen the season, he doesn't do anything, but he'll be on Mount Rushmore. And then I'm putting Jonathan on Mount Rushmore because I feel like he ran, races around like all of us that entire game. He did great. So I'm putting Jonathan up there. Who else? For challenges, I mean, I probably have to put Simmons up there for Exile. How many challenges did he win?
He tied the record at 4.
Yeah.
Okay, 4. So Simmons and probably there's only 4 up there, right? But I'm gonna do 5. McKenna and Victoria.
Okay.
Because I completely
have a mashup head
together. Are we using Victoria's left side of face or McKenna's left side of face?
I underestimated them completely. And it was McKenna's first game ever, so I'm still like very impressed by how well she did. She didn't do great at all. If you haven't seen the season, you should watch it. You'll see.
True. Yeah. Find out for yourself. Cool. Always my favorite question to ask, see what people think about the seasons they've seen, the people they've watched. Yeah, I'll turn it over to back over to Lilly and McKenna.
Yeah, so we always like to round out our exits with the same question, and that is, if you could sum up your game in one word, what would it be and why?
I would say trusting.
Mhm.
That's what it would be. Trusting. I trusted more than I ever do, for better or for worse. But yeah, I would say I was very trusting. If someone told me something, because I was telling them the truth, I felt like they were telling me the truth. And I took everything as it came to me. You know, there's no reason for you to lie to me, no reason for me to lie to you. I'm gonna trust what you say. So I would say that's the word I was not gonna say loyal. I will go with trusting.
Thank you so much for joining us, Mike. You were a blast to watch on the season. So everyone stay tuned for the Sunday show. We've got more episodes next week, more exit interviews, all the content all the time. Follow us on our social medias so you can know the schedule of when everything's happening. Alrighty. Goodbye, everyone.